Announcement by Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, I have an announcement to make. The digital landscape of organization, including parliaments and legislative bodies worldwide, has drastically changed, and more so as we enter a new age driven by technologies and artificial intelligence. As we face the future, the digital transformation of the National Assembly is a vital step towards ensuring its efficiency and transparency. The objective of a digital transformation strategy is to propel our legislative body into a new era. This strategy will uphold the principles of our democracy by providing an unprecedented level of clarity and accessibility to all citizens of Mauritius. Our vision is to create a modern legislative body that leverages the latest digital technologies to enhance its operation and public engagement. And by achieving these objectives, we will not only streamline our processes, but also strengthen the bond between the government and the citizens that it serves. The main components of this strategy are as follows. First, AI chatbots. Chatbot platforms will be used to assist citizens navigating our services for general inquiries. This will ensure a better understanding of the standing orders, rules, and other provisions relating to parliamentary procedure. Second, tools and applications. The strategy will comprise of interactive tools and applications for all citizens to foster greater interaction with Parliament. These tools will enable citizens to better engage with their representatives and stay informed about parliamentary activities. Third, live transcription. Our live streaming of parliamentary proceedings will be accompanied by live in-house captioning in both English and French. This will promote accessibility and inclusion by allowing more citizens to follow and understand our legislative process. Fourth, speech translation. English and French translation will be made available on our existing parliamentary TV channel, video on demand, streaming platform. Fifth, hands-on production. Generative AI will also be introduced within the existing hands-on cycle for instant transcription of the House proceedings. This will significantly reduce the time and effort required to produce accurate records of our debates and discussions. Sixth, open data initiative. Legislative data and documents will be published in open formats to facilitate public access and research in order to encourage civic engagement and academic research. Seven, workflow automation. Workflow automation with generative AI will be integrated within the legislative processes, such as bill drafting, amendment tracking, and committee workflows, in order to streamline these processes. However, the documents will still be manually reviewed to ensure complete accuracy. And finally, the timeline. The timeline and roadmap for this digital transformation are ambitious, yet achievable. The strategy is to achieve quick wins within the coming month: the chatbots, the development of interactive tools and applications, the live transcription, and the open data initiative. By next year, the implementation of the live captioning of proceedings is expected to be completed, and over the next 3 years, the digitalization of our archives will be completed, and routine processes will be automated. The digital transformation of the National Assembly is a bold step toward a more efficient, transparent, and inclusive legislative body. The support of all stakeholders, including members of the Assembly, staff, and citizens, will be required to engage this initiative. I have consulted the Leader of the House and the Deputy Speaker, who support this initiative. Honourable members, together, we can transform the Assembly into a groundbreaking parliamentary institution that not only meets the demands of our time, but also sets a standard for others to follow. I thank you for your attention.
Papers have been lit. Question.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I've given notice of the following private notice question to ask the Honourable Prime Minister, Minister of Defence, Home Affairs and External Communication, Minister for Rodrigue, Outer Island and Territorial Integrity, whether, in regard to the inquiries initiated into the death of Mr. S.K. in October 2020, he will, for the benefit of the House, obtained from the Commissioner of Police information as to if any suspects have been arrested, and if so, when, and 2, interrogated under warning, and if not, when, and if so, when, sorry. B, any inquiry with regard to the way in which the autopsy was performed has been completed, and C, the police has retrieved any safe city images in relation to the deceased's last trip to La Louise and how he reached Telfair.
Mr. Speaker, sir, given that the opposition is once again raising this matter in this August Assembly, let me refer the Honourable Leader of the Opposition to the replies I made to private notice questions on 18th of October 2022 and on 14th of May 2024, as well as parliamentary question B/412 of 9th of May 2023, wherein I informed the House of the police inquiry initiated into the death of late Mr. S.K. and also the institution of a judicial inquiry which was followed by a further police investigation. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I had stated on 18th of October 2020, one Mrs. P.R.M., no calling, at about 17:30 hours, whilst proceeding to her place through a sugarcane truck, noticed that part of the standing sugarcane field was burned, and she further noticed a dead body. She immediately alerted police officers who were in a police van patrolling in the vicinity. The case was attended by police officers of Muka Police Station, and at around 1800 hours, an inert body was discovered thereafter. The body was in a supine position and appeared to be burnt together with the part of the sugarcane field. The locus was cordoned off. The scene of crime officers and forensic scientific officers, as well as other police agencies, attended the scene of crime. The body was removed for autopsy. On 19th of October 2020, the said body was identified to be that of one Mr. S.K., age 52 years, job contractor, residing along Royal Road, Montaille-Ori. The cause of death was certified to be due to pulmonary edema. During the examination of the locus, one burnt mobile phone was also secured, which was in turn referred for examination at the police IT unit and forensic science laboratory. According to the forensic science laboratory, a partial DNA profile extracted from the mobile phone could not be identified, nor could it be referred to a foreign laboratory for further examination. Subsequently, Mr. J.M.M., watchman, was interrogated by the police, and he stated that the sugarcane field where the dead body was found on 18th of October 2020 is the property of Mont Désert Alma Sugar Estate. He further stated that on 17th of October 2020, at about 9:30 hours, he had noticed that fire broke out in the said standing sugarcane field. However, he did not call on the locus as the said fire had doused and the extent of damage was not consequent. He later informed his superior officer about the incident but did not report the matter to the police, as according to their policy, they report cases where the damage of sugarcane field is in excess to 1 acre. As I have already stated, on 14th of January 2021, the police has also issued a communique offering a reward of 400,000 rupees to any person who could provide information to the police on the case. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am further informed by the Commissioner of Police that during the course of the investigation, the wife of deceased stated that her husband was a job contractor but was not working for the past month as he had undergone a surgery at Candace Hospital and he bore stitches at his abdomen. He was facing financial difficulty and was unable to repay several debts he had contracted over the recent month. At times, he used to accompany his friend, one Mr. S.C., on a site of work at Kalujin. Mrs. S.K. had stated that on 16th of October 2020, at about 6 hours in the morning, the said Mr. S.C. picked him up in his car. On that day, he was wearing a shirt color red, a pair of jeans color black, and a pair of sports shoes color black, make Nike. He also took his backpack of color black and brown, which contained his personal papers, bandages, and medicines, as well as 2 cellular phones. Since then, he never came back. On 18th of October 2020, at about 2200 hours, she was informed by the police about the discovery of the corpse of her husband. Mr. Speaker, sir, as the House is aware, a judicial inquiry into the death of Mr. SK was held before the District Court of Mocha. The judicial inquiry started on 4th of December 2020 and was completed on 21st of November 2021. The district magistrate forwarded her findings to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Subsequently, on 26th of January 2022, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions had advised the police to carry out an in-depth investigation with utmost diligence and professionalism on the death of late SK, covering the following issues. 1, employment of the deceased wife as constituency clerk. 2, alleged malpractices during the last general elections with reference to Kisnan papers. 3, alleged blackmailing by deceased to Honorable Y.S. regarding the award of contracts by STC and other parastatal bodies during the COVID-19 lockdown in 2020. And 4, the way autopsy was performed over deceased by the police medical officer. Following the advice of the DPP, the police initiated further investigation into the case. As regards the issue of employment of the deceased wife as constituency clerk, I am informed that inquiry has been completed by Central CID and statements from 10 persons had been recorded. On 26th of June 2023, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions had advised that Honorable Y.S. be prosecuted for the offense of forgery in a private writing. On 21st of July 2023, the case was lodged before the Intermediate Court. On 30th of May 2024, the magistrate of the Intermediate Court has pronounced a judgment dismissing the case, and I will quote some extracts in relation to Mrs. S.K., who was witness number 3 in this case, as follows. I quote, "I have had the benefit of seeing and observing witness 3 throughout her testimony, as well as assessing her demeanor in court. The testimony of witness 3 is riddled with inconsistencies and contradictions on matters of substance, as explained in my analysis above. I find that the unexplained shortcomings in witnesses number 3's testimony, when taken as a...
Specific question to the Prime Minister. And
Honorable,
instead, there's an onslaught on the character of the widow.
Honorable Leader of Opposition, he has started to answer. Let the Prime Minister continue.
So where was I, Mr. Speaker? No point of order. What is it that you want? You are nowhere? Oh.
Yes, Honorable Prime Minister, please. Let's
Well,
continue.
but
Please,
he's
no
interrupting me.
interruptions.
He's making silly comments.
Yes. Honorable Mohammed,
He should
please.
he should allow his answer peacefully.
Honorable,
Monsieur le Président, puisque le Premier ministre, on est point of order, puisque le Premier ministre ne répond pas directement à la question du leader de l'opposition,
Right.
est-ce que le Premier ministre peut déclarer ses intérêts directs dans cette affaire?
Honorable Ashebaden, order. No. Order. This is not a point of order. Order. You will allow the Prime Minister to continue. You will allow him to continue. It is not a point of order, please.
Brûlé. On 30th, let me start again from where I was. On 30th of May 2024, the magistrate of the Intermediate Court has pronounced her judgment dismissing the case. And I will quote some extracts in relation to Mrs. S.K., who was witness-free in this case, as follows, and I quote, this is what the magistrate said. I have had the benefit of seeing and observing witness-free throughout her testimony, as well as assessing her demeanor in court.
Mr. Speaker.
That's the testimony of witness-free.
I have ruled
riddled
already. I have
with
ruled already.
inconsistency.
No. Wait, honorable members, wait. Listen. I have ruled already. If your point of order relates to his answer, the Prime Minister has his answer. I cannot direct him as to what answer to give. He is free to give his answer, and you will have questions at the end. But you may not keep interrupting.
But he can continue being irrelevant.
Yes. Continue.
Point of order. Avocat, ça. Point of order.
Please.
Lawyers.
Honorable Mohammed.
Bien, Mancholo.
Honorable Mohammed. Honorable Mohammed. Honorable Mohammed. Honorable Mohammed.
Yes, sir.
I would ask you to withdraw what you have just said
I withdraw what I just said.
and apologize.
Apologize to whom? To whom?
You have order.
I withdraw. I just apologize.
We'll continue. Honorable Prime Minister.
Never practice as a lawyer. I mean,
Honorable Mohammed, if you continue to disrupt, I will be forced. Don't force me. Okay? Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Mohammed. Honorable Mohammed, I am warning you now. No, let it be clear. I am warning you. Don't force my hand. Honorable Bhagwan, you've just resumed service. Let proceedings continue. Order, Honorable Bhagwan. Honorable Bhagwan, order. Honorable members, I am on my feet. Honorable Bhagwan, you will respect the order in this assembly. You will respect the order in this assembly. Okay? You will respect it. I am warning you, Honorable Bhagwan. I am warning you. I am warning you, do not obstruct proceedings in this house. You are being warned. Do you want to go out, Honorable Bhagwan? Would you like to go out, Honorable Bhagwan? Would you like to go out? I am giving you a last chance. You are obstructing proceedings in this house. It is a private, I am on my feet. It is a private notice question of serious importance. And you're going to obstruct proceedings like this? If you want to go out, you continue. If you want to go out, you continue. We will resume. Honorable Ashebaden. Order! Order! Honorable Asevaden. Honorable members, order. I have just stated, Honorable Lejonga, I am talking. I have just stated that if you want to lose time, you can continue like this. It is a PNQ of national importance. If you do not stop obstructing the answer and the proceedings, I will have to take action. I've already warned, and I will.
Mr. Speaker, can I have your guidance, please?
We will at a later stage. Honorable Prime Minister, please.
So I was quoting what the... I was quoting...
Honorable, please. Please, Prime Minister, please.
I was quoting what the,
Yes.
what the
Continue.
learned magistrate had stated, and I quote, "I have had the benefit of seeing and observing witness Free throughout her testimony, as well as assessing her demeanor in court. The testimony of witness Free is riddled with inconsistencies and contradictions on matters of substance, as explained in my analysis above. I find that the unexplained shortcomings in witness number 3's testimony, when taken as a whole and considered in their entirety, affect the credibility of witness 3. Also, I cannot lose sight of the fact that witness 3 has lied in an affidavit, which was the basis of a case before a court of law. Witness 3 did not strike me as a witness of truth," unquote. Furthermore, the learned magistrate stated the following, and I quote, "When all the matters considered above regarding the weight to be attached to the testimony of witness 3 are taken as a whole and considered in their entirety, the cumulative effect of the same sheds serious doubt on the veracity of such testimony and the possibility of witness 3 having a purpose of her own to serve in alleging that she was not employed as constituency clerk by the accused cannot be excluded."
Honorable Leader of the Opposition, please. Honorable Leader of Opposition, you will have ample time. You're wasting your own time. You are wasting the time now. Please.
Maybe he has not heard properly what the learned magistrate said. The possibility, Honorable Boulel, listen carefully, of witness 3 having a purpose of her own to serve in alleging that she was not employed as constituency clerk by the accused cannot be excluded. In view of the nature of the prosecution evidence, which is tainted with inconsistencies and material contradictions, I find that a serious doubt has been raised as regards the charge level against the accused, unquote. The learned magistrate also stated that, and I quote, "The prosecution having failed to establish beyond reasonable doubt that the said declaration form has been forged as averred, the charge of making use of a forged document under count 2 cannot stand because lorsque la pièce falsifiée n'offre pas les éléments d'un faux criminel, l'usage de cette pièce ne peut constituer le crime d'usage de faux," unquote. The learned magistrate therefore dismissed the information on both counts 1 and 2. Mr. Speaker, sir, as for the alleged malpractices during the last general elections, with reference to Kisnan papers, an inquiry was instituted at the Central CID, following a correspondence from the Electoral Commissioner. The said correspondence, inter alia, enclosed a letter dated 9th of January 2021 from Résistance et Alternative Party. The letter referred to alleged breaches of some provisions of the Representation of the People Act, most specifically, with regard to expenses incurred by some candidates and election agents during the National Assembly elections of 2019. The case is still under investigation, and so far, 11 statements from 9 persons have been recorded. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to the alleged blackmailing of Mr. Y.S. by the deceased regarding the award of contracts by STC and other parastatal bodies during the COVID-19 lockdown in 2020, the case, which had been referred to the then ICAC for investigation, has now been taken over by the Financial Crimes Commission. Investigation into the matter is ongoing. As regards the way autopsy was performed over deceased by the police medical officer, I am informed the inquiry has been completed. Mr. Speaker, sir, in regard to part A1 of the question, I am informed by the Commissioner of Police that during the course of the initial investigation, 98 persons were interrogated by the CCID and their respective statements recorded. So far, there has been no arrest and the inquiry is ongoing. As regards part A2 of the question, 5 persons were interrogated under warning and several statements were recorded from them between 20th of July 2021 and 10th of June 2022. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regards part B of the question, as I have already stated, the inquiry has been completed. To that effect, further statements were recorded from the police medical officer who had maintained the findings and conclusion contained in his autopsy report. On 12th of July 2022, a request was forwarded by police to IHP Group, Institut d'Histopathologie from France, to examine samples, specimen of lungs, tissues, in order to have a second opinion. On 14th of October 2022, the said institute corroborated the report of the police medical officer. As regards part C of the question, I am further informed that during the investigation, the police had retrieved all available footages from safe city cameras, by way of which the deceased could be found alighting a motorbus at Rosehill bus stand at about 1200 hours on the 16th of October 2020. Police had also applied for judge's order with a view to access data in relation to the phone of the deceased. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am also informed that the following actions were initiated by police after advice tendered by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions following findings of judicial inquiry. The different units of the CCID have held case conferencing to discuss issues with respect to the cases under reference. Correspondences have been sent to the then ICAC on issues relating to contracts allotted in the 2020 confinement period. The matter has now been taken over by the FCC. There has been exchange of correspondence to the Forensic Science Laboratory on further examination of cellular phone in an overseas lab. Services of the Attorney General's Office were enlisted, and a request for mutual legal assistance was made with the US authorities for information from Facebook on possible exchange of messages. However, the US authorities has informed that such information is not available. And several persons were interviewed anew with respect to their email addresses for further investigation. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me reiterate that I, as Prime Minister, I am as concerned as the close ones of late Mr. SK to see a speedy completion of the police inquiry in this matter, and keen to see that the perpetrator or perpetrators of this heinous crime are brought to justice and made to pay for their acts. Let me also restate in unequivocal terms that I will see to it that the rule of law prevails and that any individual or group of persons who directly or indirectly have conspired to tarnish the image and reputation of innocent people or institutions, who this case will have to assume their responsibilities and bear consequences of their action. Nonetheless, police inquiry will pursue and action will be taken without fear or favor.
Yes, Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Ample time.
You will be given additional time, yes.
Mr. Speaker, this is the biggest cover-up in relation to the reply. And I ask the question. In a reply to the then Leader of Opposition, Honourable Xavier Duval, on the 18th October 2022, the Prime Minister stated that they were eager to see a speedy completion of the police inquiry in this matter. Can he, Prime Minister, inform the House what steps, if any, have been taken to bring a speedy completion of the police inquiry?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, I have always maintained the same position, namely that police is inquiring to the matter, and I'm not the inquiring officer, I'm not the institution to inquire, so I will depend and I will rely on any progress that police is making. So the inquiry is not yet completed as yet.
Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, let me come to video footages. All video footages belonging to the Safe City architecture are stored on a cloud system. Video footages with regard to Kisnell murder are still there. Will the Prime Minister give a firm undertaking to this House that these footages will be retrieved?
Footages is the Honourable Leader of the Opposition talking about. He knows that they are in cloud. I think his head is in a cloud because if he knows, he can always go to the police and tell the police that he has evidence that there are footages and they are in a cloud. As far as I have answered, this is what I have been informed by the police. They have secured whatever footages from the Safe City cameras, and they are, of course, they must have been looking at all those footages, and whatever evidence they have, they will proceed on that.
Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Yes, let me now come to specimen that was sent to the Institute of North. Now, as the Prime Minister stated, the sample of, in the PNQ asked by my colleague, Honourable Shakil Mohamed, that the sample of lungs was sent to the Pathology Institute of North. Can he table the second opinion from the said institute if he has that information?
Well, certainly not, Mr. Speaker, sir, because the inquiry is not completed. How can I table documents from an inquiry which is ongoing?
Now, notwithstanding the specimen of lungs sent to the Pathology Institute of North, will the Prime Minister state whether any other specimen, including soft tissue from the neck of the disease, was sent for investigation to confirm that it was death by strangulation?
Well, I cannot say what kind of a specimen has been sent to the...
Honourable Leader of Opposition, please.
Mr. Speaker, on a point of order, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition has to withdraw that this is a cover-up.
Yes. Honourable Leader of the Opposition, please. Let the exercise continue.
Right, let me, I'll go to the next question.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, has the Prime... Sorry?
Answering.
Please come.
Yeah. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I can only gather information from the police. And of course, I have been told that they wanted to seek a second opinion with regard to the autopsy report that has been drawn by the police medical officer. I was told that specimens have been sent to the IHP group of France, and they have confirmed the findings of the autopsy report of the police medical officer. Now, I cannot say what specimen or what tissue has been sent to them. Of course, I can try to find this information. And if I am advised, I say if I'm advised to give further information on that, of course I will. But as I say, this is a matter which is ongoing, and inquiry is ongoing. And I don't think it would be proper for me to give particular details about especially autopsy report.
Yes, Honorable Opposition.
Yes. Now, has the Prime Minister been apprised by the Commissioner of Police of two correspondences from Mr. Sipchan dated 25th October 2021 and early November 2021 sent by registered post addressed to the Commissioner of Police and then officer in charge of the CCID, Herman Janki, in relation to the murder case of Kisnen?
Mr. Speaker, sir, the honourable member is relying on supposedly allegations or evidence of one Mr. Sipchan. He mentioned his name. That's why I can mention his name. You know, first of all, let us see who is this person, Mr. Sipchan. And I have been informed by the Commissioner of Police that he has previously been involved in numerous criminal cases, such as criminal intimidation, threatening verbally, assault with premeditation, breach of computer misuse, dealing and possession of drugs, possession of firearm with intent to endanger life, damaging motor vehicles, and sequestration. And this, if I can call him gentleman, he has just shown an affidavit drawn by an Atone Atlo who is an active member of the Labour Party. And he's talking about the Mr. Sipchan having returned to the police. Does he know, does the honourable member know, leader of the opposition know, that the police had interrogated Mr. Sipchan in the past, and he has said that he doesn't know anything, he's not involved in this, and he doesn't know anything about the Kisnan murder. This is what he has stated. Now, further, let us...
Order, please.
Let us see, Mr. Speaker, sir. This same gentleman, I be having the paper somewhere, because I have also gone through his this affidavit that he has. I must say, tissue of lies. Tissue of lies. At paragraph 30, this is what he said under oath in his affidavit. In or about early January 2022, I met with Manan Faku to discuss some religious and social activities. He thereafter requested me to accompany him to Vakwa in a meeting that he had with Mr. Basdeo Sitaram, also called Basdeo Sitaram, the blue-out boy of the inner circle of the MSM. He said in or about early January 2022, he met Manan Faku. Manan Faku passed away on 22nd of January 2021.
Order! Order! Honourable members, order! I can't hear. Honourable members, the Prime Minister is talking. Honourable Gobin, Order, please.
Il doit avoir rencontré, M. Shipchen doit avoir rencontré le fantôme de M. Manan Fakou. And this is the kind of people on which the leader of the opposition is relying to put questions.
Honorable Mohammed. Honorable Mohammed.
Oh, you pass on?
Thank
you
you.
give up? You give up? Really about?
Last question after. Please, there's not much time
Mr.
left.
Speaker, I'd like to ask the Honourable Prime Minister the following question. Since he says that he is interested in finding the truth, could he try to find out and tell us whether he can obtain the information from the Commissioner of Police if he doesn't have it or if he has it? Why is it and how is it that a police force whom we are supposed to trust cannot in any way explain how is it that CCTV, safe city cameras, present less than 300 meters away from the scene where the dead body was recovered of Mr. Kisnen, how is it that during the preliminary inquiry, the very safe city cameras that his services are responsible for, the services of the Prime Minister, has simply, purely and simply been removed and images from that particular camera have simply disappeared? Is that a coincidence that comforts him?
Honorable Mohammed, you're now making a statement.
That's a question. Is that a coincidence?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm not aware about what footages the police has in their possession when they had retrieved any footage from any camera which they think probably would be relevant to this case. How do I know that? I am not in possession. But let me say one thing, because and especially to Honorable Mohammed, you know, I must say it is a very unfortunate case that up till now, when there is suspicion that a murder has been committed, that the police is still inquiring, and we have not been able, police has not been able to at least identify a suspect. Right? I say again, this is very, very unfortunate. Now, but this is not the first time that this is happening. The way the opposition talks about this case, it's as if it is only under this government that it is the first time that this is happening. There have been cases in the past. If I may mention a few of them, one that will certainly ring a bell in the minds of some of the members of the opposition, especially of the Labour Party, is the murder of Rajeshwar Indar. Now, Rajeshwar Indar, you know, he was, and this is, it's good to know what has happened. If I can retrieve my information. Well, anyway, I have it in mind. What has happened? Mr. Rajeshwar Indar was given a letter of reservation of a prime land at Balaklava at the time when the Labour Party was in government. And thereafter, and I don't want to make any allegation, thereafter he was...
Point of order. This has nothing to do with the question.
Eh, reste-moi un peu de temps.
Honorable Mohammed. Honorable Mohammed. Yes.
Allez,
Okay, order. Honorable Prime Minister, please. But confined, please. Honorable Prime Minister, if you can
and
finish your
thereafter...
answer and
Sorry?
please finish your...
Yeah, and I was saying thereafter,
I'm giving you additional time.
trying to
Yes, I
find
hope you realize.
this information. And thereafter,
No, we
anyway,
pass
and
our
thereafter he was poisoned, he was killed, he was murdered, and the police had conducted an inquiry, and there was a judicial inquiry. The judicial inquiry revealed that, the finding of the magistrate, that he had not committed suicide, and that there was a clear case of foul play. And, well, the Labour Party has been in government for how many years now? From 2005 to...
Order, please. Honorable Kira, please. Let's hear the reply.
So from 2005 to 2014, the police of the Labour Party was not even able to at least come to a conclusion. And this is not the first case. There has been the case of Miss Nadine Carole Dantier also. And there are other cases also, the case of Mrs. Vanessa Pouron, Mrs. Alima Awazil. And so I can cite
Yes.
a number of cases. So again, let me say, not because there are cases which has not been elucidated in the past, that there is justification not to elucidate cases where there has been a suspicion of murder.
Yes, Honorable Leader of Opposition, your last question.
Thank you very much. I will put my last question for you today, Prime Minister. Now, his inner circle has been accused of orchestrating the murder of Mr. Kistel.
No.
There is now
No. This is most improper. You are now imputing, Honorable Boulel, I am talking. You are casting aspersions, very serious aspersions. Please, rephrase your question.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has opened the door by referring to the affidavit. He has referred and quoted from the affidavit. He has made it a live issue.
Honorable Boulel, this is your last question.
Referring. I'm referring because Prime Minister referred to the...
I can't hear.
Prime Minister referred to the affidavit, sworn affidavit. And I will refer to specific paragraph of this affidavit. He's the one who started it. Now, and what it says, the same, Basdev Sitaram, also known as also told Manan Fatou to be more patient regarding payment of his dues. And Mr. Sobiladen
Order!
be paid by Mrs. Komika Jagannath Boramdani, the wife of the Honorable Prime Minister, from the black money kept as shady, as fictitious trading name.
Honorable Leader of Opposition. Okay, right. Table it and put your question.
This is the question.
No, you have already quoted. Put the question.
Now that the names have been mentioned, I would like to know whether
Honorable
these...
Mohammed. No, he's answering and you're asking for additional time. Look at the time. I'm going to stop if you're on your side.
Now that the names have been mentioned, will they be cases for investigation? Will they be investigated? Will they be interrogated? Yes.
Let me tell you, let me tell the Honourable Leader of the Opposition that there are two persons whose names have been cited in this affidavit who have already made a declaration to the police and have asked the police to inquire.
Let him answer. Honorable Boulel, let him answer now.
And again, you are referring to an affidavit. How can we take this affidavit seriously when somebody is saying that he has met Mr. Fakou when Mr. Fakou had already passed away? What is this? Nonsense.
Time is over. Time is over. Time is over. Honorable Asevaden. Honorable Asevaden. Behave yourself. Honorable Boulel. Honorable Asevaden. Honorable members. Honorable Asevaden. Honorable Asevaden, why do you disobey my authority? Do you want to go up? But why do you disobey my authority? Don't argue with me. Do yourself a favor. Don't argue with me. Time is over. You've had ample time. You should be grateful. Now let the business continue, or you're going to go out.
Private members' motion.
Next. Yes, Honorable Abbas Mahmoud.
Private members' motion.
Honorable Abbas Mahmoud.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you, Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, first and foremost, let me take this opportunity to congratulate the newly appointed Speaker, you, Mr. Speaker. As much as it is an honor for you to be sitting in this chair, Mr. Speaker, sir, presiding over this August Assembly, I would like to thank the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Pravin Kumar Jagnnath, for taking this strategic and wise decision of appointing you as the Speaker of the House. Mr. Speaker, sir, over the years, you have proved that you are the worthy grandson of late Sir Gaetan Duval. This Prime Minister, Honorable Pravin Kumar Jagnnath, has proved over years that he has been the one betting the pace for the development of this country. It is the MSM government and the Prime Ministership of Sir Anirudh Jagnnath that appointed a lady, Mrs. Maya Hanumanji, as a Speaker of this Assembly, and followed by this Prime Minister, Honorable Pravin Kumar Jagnnath, who appointed for the first time a lady, Honorable Fazila Jiwa Doriau, as Vice Prime Minister. Today again, Mr. Speaker, sir, Honorable Pravin Kumar Jagnnath will go down in history for appointing the youngest Speaker in your person as Speaker.
Second youngest.
Mr. Speaker, sir, during your first electoral campaign in 2014, you were flying as a young and dynamic politician because you were working in a homogeneous and honest team under then Sir Anirudh Jagnnath, who already spotted you and spotted your potential at this time. It cannot be a coincidence, Mr. Speaker, sir, that for my maiden speech in 2015, I had the privilege to address to you and in fact, I addressed to two speakers, namely you, who was presiding, and then the Speaker, Mrs. Maya Hanumanji, take over. And for this electric motor vehicle, I also have the privilege to start my speech in front of the then Speaker, Mr. Surujdev Phokir, and now I am addressing this Assembly under your sous votre présidence. Before I come to the bill, Mr. Speaker, sir, let me take this opportunity to wish a speedy and prompt recovery to my very dear friend, Mr. Surujdev Phokir. Monsieur le Président, on a vu comment l'opposition, même à votre entrée, ils n'ont pas de respect. Monsieur le Président, pendant qu'il ban membre l'opposition fait cinéma dans le Parlement, le jeune député de ce côté de la Chambre, comme l'honorable Johan Tour, présent ici, pense à l'avenir de notre République. C'est pourquoi cette private member motion. As you are aware, Mr. Speaker, sir, fossil fuel, the traditional backbone of the transport sector of finite resources, as global concern over resource depletion, rise transitioning to electric vehicles which can be powered by diverse and renewable energy sources become a strategic imperative for Mauritius. The cornerstone of the government's approach to promoting electric vehicles lies in making them affordable for the average Mauritian citizen. The abolition of excise duties for EVs with engine power below 180 kilowatt is a testament to this commitment, Mr. Speaker, sir. Beyond the initial cost saving, electric vehicle boosts significantly lower maintenance costs compared to their traditional combustion engine counterparts. Electric vehicles are inherently more energy efficient than their fossil fuel-powered counterparts. The conversion of electrical energy to mechanical power in EVs is more direct and efficient, resulting in better energy utilization. This translates into cost saving for consumers who benefit from lower energy consumption per kilometer traveled. Seamless access to charging facilities is pivotal for the success of the government electric mobility initiative. Members of Parliament should recognize that the widespread adoption of electric vehicles relies on the ease with which individuals can charge their cars. The establishment of public charging stations in urban centers enhance accessibility for residents while strategically placing charging infrastructure along highways facilitate intercity travel. Moreover, Mr. Speaker, sir, ensuring compatibility and interoperability among the charging network is crucial, providing a hassle-free experience for EV users regardless of the charging station operator. Encouraging the use of electric vehicles in public fleet is more than an eco-friendly gesture. It's a pragmatic step towards achieving a holistic transition in the transport sector. Electric buses, with their reduced carbon footprint and operational efficiency, are not just a futuristic concept. They are a present-day solution to the challenges posed by climate change and environmental degradation. The NTC's, and thanks to Honorable Alan Ganu, initiative aligns seamlessly with global efforts to create smarter, more sustainable urban mobility solution. As we transit towards an electric bus fleet, the positive impact on community health and overall quality of life cannot be overstated. Traditional buses emit pollutants that have direct consequences on respiratory health and overall well-being. Electric buses with zero tailpipe emission ensure that our streets are not just conduits of transit, but contributors to a healthier living environment. This shift is an investment in the well-being of every Mauritian, making our cities more healthy and perhaps more vibrant. In the pursuit of a sustainable and environmentally conscious future, Mauritius has set its sight on becoming a regional leader in sustainable transportation. At the core of this vision lies the 10-year electric vehicle integration roadmap, unveiled in January 2020. This roadmap not only reflects a deep understanding of the global challenges posed by traditional transportation system, but also aligns Mauritius with international best practices in fostering a shift toward electric mobility. One of the primary pillars, Mr. Speaker, sir, of the roadmap is the emphasis on charging infrastructure, an aspect widely recognized as critical in the successful integration of electric vehicles. Global leaders in sustainable transportation, such as Norway and the Netherlands, have demonstrated the pivotal role of a well-developed charging network in encouraging mass EV adoption. By incorporating this best practice, Mauritius is laying the groundwork for seamless EV use, ensuring citizens can confidently transition to electric vehicles without concern about charging accessibility. The roadmap strategically focuses on battery electric vehicles, aligning Mauritius with countries like China and Germany that have prioritized BEVs in their sustainable transportation initiatives. Learning from the experiences of these global pioneers ensure that Mauritius adopt a vehicle fleet that not only meets environmental standards, but also aligns with the preferences and needs of the citizens. This approach, Mr. Speaker, sir, is crucial in creating a sustainable transportation system that resonates with the local context while adhering to international benchmarks. International success stories in the electric mobility sector highlight the importance of a phased and targeted approach to incentive. Mr. Speaker, sir, by aligning incentives with specific target groups such as taxis, corporate entities, and government agencies, Mauritius is following the footsteps of countries like the United States and the United Kingdom. This targeted strategy ensures that incentives are maximized where they can have the most significant impact, contributing to the responsible and sustainable growth of the electric vehicle market. The roadmap, Mr. Speaker, sir, recognizes the power of community building and knowledge sharing in driving the success of sustainable transportation. Countries like Sweden and Singapore have excelled, Mr. Speaker, sir, in creating platform for collaboration among government, industry, and academia. By fostering a community of practice, Mauritius aims to tap into global expertise, leveraging shared knowledge and experiences to refine its approach continually. The global shift toward clean power for EVs is a trend that Mauritius is keenly embracing. Countries like Iceland and Costa Rica have demonstrated the potential of clean energy sources for EV charging. Through a stimulation program focused on clean power, Mauritius seeks not only to reduce emissions, but also to create economic opportunities tied to renewable economic opportunities tied to renewable energy. This approach, Mr. Speaker, sir, positions Mauritius at the forefront of a global movement toward sustainable and clean energy adoption in the transportation sector. Mauritius electric vehicle integration roadmap isn't just a localized strategy, Mr. Speaker, sir. It's a strategic framework designed to position the country as a leader in sustainable transportation in the region. By aligning with global best practices, Mauritius is not merely adopting a set of guidelines. It is actively participating in a global movement towards a greener, more sustainable future. The 10-year electric vehicle integration roadmap for Mauritius is more than a document. It's a commitment, Mr. Speaker, sir, to international best practices that has proven successful in leading the transition to sustainable transportation. As Mauritius charts its course towards this future, it does so not in isolation, Mr. Speaker, sir, but as an active participant in the global community striving for a cleaner, greener, and more sustainable world. In the pursuit of a sustainable and healthier future, Mauritius stands at a crossroad where the adoption of electric vehicles emerge not only as an environmental imperative, but as a catalyst for profound social and health benefits. As the government continues its efforts to encourage the use of electric vehicles, it's crucial to recognize the comprehensive advantages that extend beyond economic and environmental considerations. Mr. Speaker, sir, urban life often resonates with a constant hum of combustion engine vehicles, contributing to elevated noise level and a less than ideal living environment. Electric vehicles, characterized by their whisper, quiet operation, present a transformative solution to this long-standing issue, as Mauritius aims for a more sustainable and serene urban landscape. The transition to to electric vehicle becomes a key contributor to noise reduction. Quieter streets promote a more peaceful coexistence and enhance the overall well-being of residents, fostering a sense of tranquility in urban spaces. Mr. Speaker, sir, the societal benefit of embracing electric vehicle extend to broader public health dividends. A reduction in air pollution directly correlates with a decrease in respiratory illness, cardiovascular disease, and other health issues associated with poor air quality. A healthier population is a more productive one, Mr. Speaker, sir. And as electric vehicle gain prominence, urban planning.
Honourable Member, I'm sorry to interrupt. We'll break for 30 minutes and then you can resume your speech.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker,
Thank
sir.
you.
you very much. Please be seated. Honorable Abbas Mahmoud, to resume your debate.
Quelle agréable surprise, Monsieur le Président de la séance. Un private motion devant trois différents présidents, c'est pas donné à tout le monde. Et en plus, la jeunesse. Donc, toujours sans l'opposition, ils sont là en des protestes.
No, everybody's happily here. Everybody's happily here, I think.
Okay.
We're all happily here, aren't we?
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. The abolition of excise duties and strategic reduction in taxes have already planted the seeds of economic advantages. Continued government efforts to promote electric vehicles will not only sustain these benefits, but also catalyze the growth of a thriving electric mobility market in Mauritius. By endorsing this resolution, members of Parliament are contributing to the economic prosperity of the nation, fostering a landscape where businesses and individuals alike reap the rewards of sustainable and cost-effective transportation. Charging infrastructure is a backbone of the electric vehicle ecosystem. The government's commitment to establishing a robust charging network reflects a dedication to building the path to progress. Members of Parliament, especially this side of the House, by supporting this resolution or advocating for continued investment in charging infrastructure. This is not merely a step in technological advancement, but a cornerstone in ensuring seamless access to charging facility, a fundamental prerequisite for widespread electric vehicle adoption. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the commitment of the National Transport Corporation to acquire electric buses signifies a pioneering effort in transforming public transportation. A resolution in favor of ongoing government efforts amplifies this commitment, emphasizing the role of sustainable public transportation system. Members of Parliament through their support on not only reducing emissions, but also setting a precedent for future focus and pragmatic solution to public transit, enhancing the quality of life for all Mauritians. The 20-year electric vehicle integration roadmap aligns Mauritius with international best practices. By endorsing this resolution, members of Parliament are elevating Mauritius to a regional beacon of sustainability. The strategic framework proposed in the roadmap positions the nation as a leader in sustainable transportation, showcasing an ability to adapt and innovate in alignment with global standards. Beyond the tangible advantages, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the adoption of electric vehicle promises intangible yet invaluable benefit to society. Members of Parliament, through this resolution, are nurturing the well-being of citizens. By endorsing electric vehicle adoption, they are contributing to a quieter, healthier, and more vibrant society, a legacy that extends far beyond the parliamentary chambers. In conclusion, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the resolution urging the government of Mauritius to persist in its effort to encourage the use of electric vehicles is a pledge to a cleaner, more sustainable future. As members of Parliament contemplate their decision, they hold in their hands the power to position Mauritius as a regional leader in embracing electric mobility. This resolution, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, is not merely a legislative act. It's a commitment to a legacy of responsible stewardship echoing throughout the corridor of time as a testament to Mauritius' dedication to a brighter and more sustainable future. The opposition may talk as much as they want, but it is this Prime Minister, Honorable Pravin Kumar Jagannath, that will go down in history as a Prime Minister that has never let his population down. Besides being le bâtisseur infrastructurel de ce pays, he will be remembered as a Prime Minister who has dealt with a pandemic, a lockdown, and a world war between Ukraine and Israel. It is this Prime Minister who is le vrai rassembleur and that lead this country with a perfect slogan, unity in diversity. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much. Honorable Nakchedi, you ready?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. And for me, it's a great pleasure to have you and only you on the chair while I'm intervening on
It's
this
a pleasure
bill.
for me too.
I knew that.
It's a shared pleasure.
Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to first of all thank Honorable Joan Tu for proposing such a topic to be debated in this August Assembly, which is of great interest, and we saw that those honorable members who intervened on this topic from both sides of the House have carried out lots of research. Today, as I am taking my turn to bring my contribution to this motion, on this very same day, the SVICC is hosting the Salon de l'Automobile 2024, where electric cars are exposed and proposed to Mauritians. The automotive industry itself, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, has become one of the most important worldwide, not only at the economic level, but also in terms of research and development. Increasingly, there are more technological elements that are being introduced on vehicles for the improvement of both passengers and pedestrians' safety. However, this has led to a dramatic increase in air pollution levels in the urban environments. In addition, according to a report by the European Union, the transport sector is responsible for nearly 28% of the total CO2 emissions. Therefore, the authorities of most developed countries are encouraging the use of electric vehicles to avoid the concentration of air pollutants, CO2, as well as other greenhouse gases. Most specifically, they promote sustainable and efficient mobility through different initiatives, mainly through tax incentives, purchase aids, or other special measures such as free public parking or the free use of motorways, that is, they don't have to pay tolls. It is believed that electric vehicles offer the following advantages over traditional vehicles. I say it is believed, Mr. Speaker, sir, as later on, I will elaborate on certain points and issues concerning the electric cars. So neither these drawbacks nor the other facets that I'm going to raise later on, or they are not my own standpoint, but I am only putting it here as a matter of points to ponder. So the advantages are that this type of vehicles neither emit tailpipe pollutants, CO2, nor nitrogen dioxide. The number of electric vehicle engine elements is smaller, which leads to a much cheaper maintenance. The engines are simpler and more compact. They do not need a cooling circuit, and neither is necessary for incorporating gear shaft, clutch, or elements that reduce the engine noise. Having fewer and more simple components makes this type of vehicle have fewer breakdowns. Traveling in electric vehicles is more comfortable due to the absence of vibrations or engine noise. We are, Mr. Speaker, sir, talking of a smart city, and with smart cities, electric cars will have a very important role in the smart cities, being smart along with shared mobility. It is at this opportune time, Mr. Speaker, sir, that we have this private motion in this assembly. This private motion, members' motion, Mr. Speaker, sir, is about this assembly resolving on the government's effort to encourage the use of electric vehicles in Mauritius. The automotive landscape is undergoing an electrifying transformation, with electric vehicles accelerating towards mainstream adoption. However, a crucial challenge remains. While electric vehicles hold the key to a more sustainable future, the high cost associated with battery technology have cast a shadow over profitability for most original equipment manufacturers and gigafactories. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, technology, ideologies, theories, demography keeps changing. When I was in the primary school, we were taught that, for example, Black River was the least populated district of Mauritius. But about 3 decades back after, when my son was in primary school, he was taught that Savan was the least populated district. When I was at the secondary school, we were told that the advantage of electricity was that it does not create pollution. But now we are told that the power stations producing electricity are the largest source of carbon pollution. On the 17th of December 2021, when Honorable Usman Mohammed intervened on this motion, he mentioned something very interesting, that in 2019, Tesla made a very impressive presentation of its last model of electric vehicle, and the shares of Tesla went up from $70 in 2019 to $1,200 on the stock exchange of New York in November 2021. Now, I would like to inform the House, Mr. Speaker, sir, that Tesla's shares went down to $281 in July 2023. In December 2023, it was at about $200. From December 2023 to July 2024, that is last month, there has been some improvements, I should say. As at yesterday, the 1st of August 2024, the shares of Tesla at Nasdaq were at about $216.86. But yet it was lower than the previous day by 6.55%. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have with me a book called Power Play, Elon Musk, Tesla, and the Bet of the Century, written by Mr. Tim Higgins, who said that the Tesla story is a very interesting case study on the thin line between madness and genius. This is a book which was published in 2021. Manan Faku had already passed away by that time.
No, you shouldn't be. No, don't make joke about this.
No, it's not a joke, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, but
I'm just reminding some people. You know, in that book at page 122, at the page 122, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, Mr. Tim Higgins, who is a reporter of Wall Street Journal, he mentioned that Musk, the billionaire, was pleading poverty about 4 months ago. He ran out of cash, and Musk had told the court in filings that he had been living off personal loans from a friend since October 2009, spending $200,000 a month. What I want to point out here, Mr. Speaker, sir, that we can say that during that time, the shares value of Tesla was increasing, but in fact, the founder, Mr. Elon Musk, was himself undergoing some difficult times as far as finance is concerned. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, when you now look at what is happening around us in this effort to find a carbon-free solution, we then see that today's solution may be a tomorrow's question. And let us see what the electric cars, in fact, are. In 2022, we had about 26 million of electric cars on our roads. Today, this figure has reached 40 million, and this is growing quite fast. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, we must all have heard about the 50 million users. In fact, it took us 62 years to reach 50 million cars, the conventional cars in the world. The telephone, the landline telephone, took 75 years to reach 50 million users. Electricity, it took 46 years. Radio, 38 years. Credit cards, 28 years. Cellular phone, 12 years. Internet, 4 years. Facebook, 2 years. And highly popular games such as Angry Birds or Candy Crush are doing this in less than 2 months. Today, the fastest downloaded application of all time is Pokemon Go, which took only 19 days to be uploaded by 50 million users. These figures, Mr. Speaker, sir, show a rapid demand in new inventions. Electric car sales saw another record in 2022. Despite supply chain disruptions, macroeconomic and geopolitical uncertainty, and high commodity and energy prices, the growth in electric car sales took place in the context of globally contracting car markets. When the first crude electric car in the world was developed in 1832, nobody at the time would have thought to ask how many electric cars were there in the world. When the first modern electric car, the EV1, was sold in 1996, still no one was asking how many electric cars were there in the world, because there were not enough to go and count. But today, as electric cars are to overtake gasoline-powered cars by 2030, and beyond that, same question is extremely relevant, especially, Mr. Speaker, sir, that now there seems to be a growing concern that given that electric vehicles are not providing what they were supposed to. There are articles, reviews, talks, research papers, documentaries, etc., which says that the issue of an electric vehicle is not only about CO2 emission, it is not only about the environment, it's not only about our health, it's not only about the safeguard of the planet, but it's an aspect of the economy, world power, geopolitics, and much more. And when we talk of geopolitics, Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Kishore Mahbubani has said that geopolitics is a very cruel game. Mr. Mahbubani, Mr. Speaker, sir, is a Singaporean diplomat and geopolitical consultant who served as Singapore permanent representative to the United Nations between 1984 and 1989, and again between 1998 and 2004, and the president of the United Nations Security Council between 2001 and 2002. So he knows what he means when he says that geopolitics is a very cruel game. When you see what is happening on electric cars, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have all the rights as an African country to ask certain questions. Questions like, why promoting batteries that use lithium and other elements, which are available mostly in European and North American countries? So, Mr. Speaker, sir, it's all about money. Money is very powerful. And you know, Mr. Speaker, sir, when money talks, no one checks the grammar, because it's Mr. Money who is talking. It's Mr. Money who has got the command. And there's a very famous adage of the Hindi cinema which says, "Sabse bada rupaya, na baap bada na maya." That is, money has the biggest power, more than your own, even your own parents. And while preparing this intervention, Mr. Speaker, sir, I came across several contradictory information on the availability of the raw materials of core batteries in Africa. However, the one which I feel is the most reliable is the one from the research carried out by Nanyang Technological University Center for African Studies, which shows that the minerals are available in ample quantities in South Africa, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and Zambia. The same research also mentions that while these minerals are mined in Africa, the actual value addition work such as melting, refining, cell assembly, and ultimately electric vehicle productions takes place outside Africa. Now, what does that mean, Mr. Speaker, sir? It means that Africa thus loses out on higher returns on job creations that occur from participating in value creation, while the other countries do the value-adding processes in their own countries. Mr. Speaker, sir, whilst Africa has 40% of the world's gold and up to 90% of its chromium and platinum, yet, Mr. Speaker, sir, 387 million people of the African continent do not have access to basic drinking water. This is what Africa has been enduring since a long time. And Kenneth Maswabi has put it so beautifully in his poem, Poverty and Africa, which says, poverty is a black hole centered in the middle of Africa, spinning out of control, ravaging the highlands of Ethiopia. Mr. Speaker, sir, centuries ago, and for a very long time, we had slavery. The Westerns enslaved those poor people of rich countries, be it Africa, be it Latin America, or even India. Mr. Shashi Tharoor has mentioned in his book, An Era of Darkness, and even in some of his talks, including one at the University of Oxford, where he mentioned that at the beginning of British rule in India, the Indian share of the global economy was 23%. When India became independent from British rule in 1947, that share had declined to below 4%. When India got its independence, Mr. Speaker, sir, it had already lost most of its precious resources. The textile industry was extinct. The Kohinoor was gone. Mr. Tharoor even mentioned that the British looted India to such an extent that they even looted the word loot. The word loot was added to the English vocabulary in the 19th century, which comes from the Hindi word loot, meaning spoils, butin. Today, Mr. Speaker, sir, those countries who have enriched themselves by impoverishing others have found new ways to do so. So we have to be careful. Let us take the issue of lithium, which is a metal used to manufacture batteries for cars. 50% of the world lithium is found in Latin America, and lithium is a lightweight metal in a silvery white mineral, is the world's lightest metal, which can be found in rocks, clay, and salt water. 50% of lithium is found in what is called the lithium triangle, that is in 3 countries, Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina. Lithium extraction, particularly for use in rechargeable batteries, has gained significant attention due to the increasing demand for electric vehicles, portable electronics, and renewable energy storage. However, the processes involved in lithium extraction are causing serious environmental, social, and economic disturbances. Lithium is found in seawater. Lithium extraction, especially from salt flats in regions like South America, requires significant amount of water. The process of lithium extraction often involves pumping saline groundwater to the surface, leading to a decrease in water levels in these arid regions. This depletion is having a severe impact on local ecosystems and biodiversity, particularly affecting flora and fauna that rely on specific water levels. It requires more than 1,000 liters of brine to produce one car battery. Again, it is a US company, Albemarle, which is a major brine extractor in the lithium triangle, and it exported more than $890 million in 2021. After that, the lithium has been extracted from the brine. The residual is left in the open air for months, which they call the acid lakes. Because once you extract the lithium from the seawater, it is the content of the salt is so high that it is similar to acid. And birds are drinking this water, which is causing harm to them, and some species of birds are likely to disappear in the process. The extraction is also having a degradation to land. The mining and extraction processes can lead to significant land disturbances. Open pit mining and the construction of evaporation ponds are resulting in habitat destruction, soil erosion, and disruption of local ecosystem. And this blunder that is being caused there, Mr. Speaker, sir, is irreversible, leading to the loss of biodiversity and indigenous plant and species. Chemicals used in the extraction process are prone to contaminate soil and groundwater. The use of toxic substances such as heavy metals and solvents poses a risk to the local environment. In some cases, if proper environmental safeguards are not in place, these contaminants can seep into surrounding areas, affecting agriculture and water supplies. Do you imagine, Mr. Speaker, sir, that those indigenous people of Chile, what are they facing? Their livelihoods depend on the land and water resources. So just to reduce the CO2 in the developed countries, the lives of millions of these people are put at risk. While lithium is crucial for the development of clean energy technologies, it is essential to recognize and address the various harms associated with its extraction. Sustainable mining practices, improved regulations, and responsible resource management are critical for mitigating the environmental, social, and economic impacts of lithium extraction. As the demands for lithium continues to grow, it is vital for stakeholders, including governments, industries, and local communities, to work collaboratively in developing solutions that prioritize both ecological integrity and social equity. I will come back on the extraction of lithium later on. Hope today itself. Mr. Speaker, sir, earlier I spoke about Africa. And let me come back to Africa because we're African countries. Apart from lithium, another metal that is a popular choice for electric car batteries is a cobalt, because it withstands high temperatures and does not corrode easily. These two properties of cobalt, Mr. Speaker, sir, makes it an ideal raw material for the batteries. The cobalt goes into the cathode of the batteries. This cobalt, Mr. Speaker, sir, 70% of the world reserve is found in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Mining of cobalt has exploded in this country due to Chinese investment. Chinese investment is not the issue. The issue is that between 50 to 60% of the cobalt mining in DRC comes from artisanal mining, where miners go deep into deep shafts with not only without any proper protection, but in also dangerous conditions of the shaft that don't have proper supports to prevent collapse. And those hundreds of thousands of artisanal miners who go deep into the shafts every day are not sure to return to their families in the evening. And while talking of labor, while talking of Africa, how can we ignore the problems, the issues of child labor in Africa, Mr. Speaker, sir? Over the years, human groups have raised the alarm about the issue of child labor and at unregulated mining sites. UNICEF estimated that in 2014, about 40,000 to 50,000 boys and girls work in all mines across the Southern Democratic Republic of the Congo. The questions which we members of this House, people of this country, should ask those authorities that boycotted Bangladeshi products because the manufacturers were having recourse to child labor. Will they now take actions? Will they call for a boycott for the electric cars? Or is it because Africa, they will keep their mouths shut and eyes closed? These African children, Mr. Speaker, sir, when are they going to have their porte-parole? These African people, Mr. Speaker, sir, DRC, which has about 35 trillion US dollars of resources, today their country does not have enough money to organize elections. But, Mr. Speaker, sir, you can't expect a lot from a country which is today a victim of its resources, because the rich can have an electric car and say that they are protecting the earth. They are protecting the ozone. In fact, they don't realize that hundreds of thousands of families have been evicted from their homes by force, their houses set on fire and undergone physical assault by the military services. This is the fate of Africa, Mr. Speaker, sir. They are suffering from a resource curse. The concentration of cobalt production in the Democratic Republic of Congo raises concerns regarding supply chain ethics, including issues related to labor practices and environmental standards. As the demands for cobalt continues to rise, particularly for electric vehicle batteries and renewable energy, storage technologies, sourcing practices that ensure ethical and sustainable mining will be increasingly important for the global supply chain. Efforts to diversify cobalt sources and develop recycling technologies for batteries are also gaining traction to mitigate dependence on a specific region, which is a good sign. Here, Mr. Speaker, sir, let me praise the courage of the Indonesian people who had showed no fear to write a letter directly to Mr. Elon Musk to request him to stop the exploitation of nickel in Indonesia, because nickel also is one of the raw materials which is used in the manufacturing of those batteries. Indonesians urge him to consider the ethical implications of sourcing nickel and to advocate for sustainable practices in the supply chain. This reflects a broader movement globally, where consumers and activists are increasingly calling for transparency and ethical practices in the sourcing of materials used in technology and renewable energy. It's crucial for companies involved in the electric vehicle market to engage with local communities and ensure that their supply chains are environmentally and socially responsible. The call from Indonesian citizens is part of a larger global conversation about sustainable practices in resource extraction and corporate responsibility. It seems that protests from the citizens of Indonesia has raised some awareness. That's maybe the reason why Tesla's biggest rival, the Chinese company BYD, is investing $1.4 billion in a battery facility which will shift from lithium-ion to sodium-ion battery for cars. Sodium-ion batteries are gaining attention as a potential alternative to lithium-ion batteries, especially for applications in electric vehicles and energy storage systems. While they are not yet widely adopted in the automotive industry, several factors contribute to the growing interest and research. Sodium is much more abundant and widely distributed than lithium. It can be extracted from seawater and salt deposits, making it a more sustainable and potentially less costly option in the long run. This abundance can help also to stabilize supply chains and reduce dependency on specific regions for battery materials. Since sodium is more abundant and energy-dense materials can be sourced with a lower environmental impact, sodium-ion batteries could present a greener alternative compared to lithium-ion batteries, particularly concerning extraction practices. Well, we have to wait for the test period to see if sodium really represents an advantage over lithium. It is believed that the shift from lithium to sodium could have been a critical factor in allowing BYD, which stands for Build Your Dreams. It is believed that the BYD company, which is a competitor of Tesla, which has nearly overtaken Tesla as the largest seller of electric cars, will really meet the dreams of millions of people around the globe. And the issue today is that, Mr. Speaker, sir, the emissions and damage to the planet caused by electric vehicles remain a serious concern. This is becoming a matter of concern, serious concern, as the number of electric cars is increasing exponentially. Before answering the question of how many electric cars are there in the world, let's look at what percentage of cars are electric. It is estimated that 1 in 250 cars on the road is electric, which equals to a global market share of around 2.2% for electric vehicles. Currently, there are more and more changes in the automotive market focused on the production of zero-emission CO2 emission cars. Changes in the automotive industry push the limits of possible solutions in autonomous cars and innovative based on advanced electronics, car maintenance, and servicing solutions. In particular, they are concerned about the introduction of electric drive to cars, which is related to the demand for light metals, rare metals, and graphite. Environmental regulations, as well as consumer awareness of the ongoing global climate change, are increasing the demand for electric cars as it is considered as a supposing solution to climate change. Supporters of electric cars are of the opinion that people are willing to adopt electric cars. My friend, Honorable Danu, during his intervention when he intervened on this motion, mentioned in his speech that even the honorable members of this House are more and more moving towards it. It started by the Minister Honorable Jagat Pal, and now Honorable Danu himself has one electric vehicle. Mr. Speaker, sir, the supporters of electric vehicles show that people are going more and more for it, and it could have been more, but there is a barrier that stands in the way of widespread electric motorization, which is the price of the car, and poor electric charging infrastructures. The use of electric car is also not synonymous with a complete lack of environmental impact. On Thursday, 28th of July 2022, when Honorable Kolanda Velu intervened on this motion, he said that several, as he mentioned about several interesting things with the then Chief Whip, Honorable Navina Ramyad, now Minister, also highlighted during her intervention. And so did my friend Honorable Danu, and my friend next to me, Honorable Lakshman Roy. I think she intervened just after Honorable Kolandevelu. And she even mentioned that Honorable Kolandevelu has made her look at the issue from a different angle. And she was a bit pris de court parce qu'elle avait dit qu'elle va peut-être revoir sa copie parce que ce qu'elle avait préparé, c'était en faveur des voitures électriques. But at the end, she went in the same line as I am today. Let me mention what the points that Honorable Kolandevelu mentioned on that day. And this was an important subject which is going to probably affect the whole landscape of our country for a long time. He mentioned that his intention was not of dampening the enthusiasm of everyone over electric cars. Mr. Speaker, sir, Honorable Kolandevelu is someone of great experience who has served this assembly for several years. And as I say, with age comes a lot of wisdom. And it's wisdom which showed us the other facet of electric car, to which I will come later during my intervention. Mr. Isaac Asimov once said that the saddest aspect of life right now is that science gathers knowledge faster than the society gathers wisdom. And that was the crux of Honorable Kolandevelu's speech. That is, we have got to be realistic on this matter. An electric car costs more expensive than an internally combustion vehicle. Moreover, he mentions that unless you drive a lot, the time required for the capital investment on the electric car could be what we call the payback period could be very long. And when we consider a small island like Mauritius, Mr. Speaker, sir, if you live, for instance, at Suliac and work at Pointe Canonier, and you are not able to practice work from home and have to move to your office every day, probably then you may have a better chance to have a good return on your investment. Otherwise, it will be difficult or even impossible for a small country like Mauritius. You then have the operating costs, where just to give you an idea, the battery of the electric car costs about 400,000 rupees. And I have been told that the price has been decreasing steadily over the years, thanks to the advancement in technology and increased economies of scale. Another interesting thing is about entrepreneurship. We, as the government, we are promoting our local workers. So if you have an electric car which hasn't got an engine, it means that the poor mechanics with small garages will find their job in danger. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, electric cars have their merits and also have some drawbacks. And we elected members representing our mandates shall look at the whole picture. We should not be like the blind man who touches the tail of an elephant and goes on shouting that the elephant is like a piece of rope. Mr. Speaker, sir, we still have today, I don't know whether to say fortunately or unfortunately, people who shows reluctance to electric cars. It is also rare to find more than 2 electric vehicles in a single household. However, it is not uncommon to find 2 conventional cars in a household. Now, let me enumerate on some of the bad sides of the electric car which experts have mentioned. An assessment shows that charging electric cars does not necessarily reduce the carbon footprint if the energy does not come from the renewable sources. It was also found that every kilometer traveled by an electric car vehicle produces 35 to 50 times more sulfur dioxide than a conventional vehicle. It was found that the high weight of electric cars causes more wear and tear on the rubber threads of the wheels and consequently more contamination with rubber particles. That's why, Mr. Speaker, sir, I mentioned earlier that we should look at the bigger picture holistically and not focus on CO2 emissions only. The extraction and production of materials for the construction of electric cars and the batteries is a source of environmental pollution. The carbon footprint of electric car production is therefore not zero. Despite these reservations, so far, no alternative solutions have gained significant market popularity. There are reports of using hydrogen to power vehicles. However, this possibility does not translate into widespread use. Electric motoring is a mega trend. The problems of electric motoring are primarily related to the availability and prices of battery materials that require elements such as lithium, cobalt, magnesium, nickel, and graphite. Mining of these elements is concerned in few countries of the world, which introducing risk in the supply chain. Since most of the production and processing of materials for electric car batteries is carried out in China, there is a risk of dependence on this country. There is also a problem with the appropriate number of vehicles charging stations. This year, there was a report published by the Global Electric Vehicle Market Overview, which presented the main issues related to the risk related to the production of electric car batteries. The research problem boils down to assessing the risk of supplies of materials necessary for the production of batteries for electric cars. They are the most critical element in the car in terms of materials and cost. Materials for the construction of batteries for electric cars are sourced in several countries around the world, and most of the components are produced in China. There is a need to analyze the possibilities of supply diversification as well as assess the risk related to the narrow scope of flexibility of supply chains on the other hand, and the widespread globalization on the other. The prices of materials for the construction of batteries affect the prices of electric cars and the purchasing power of consumers. What are the prospects for implementing the idea of a complete transition to zero-emission cars? This will probably depend, firstly, on advances in material solutions for the construction of batteries for electric cars. This is the answer that we elected members of both sides of the House should try to find. And earlier, I mentioned the elements that we need for the manufacture of batteries. So let me take some example of lithium, as I said earlier, that I will come back on the extraction. Lithium batteries won't just be a need for the next 10 years. It's something requiring huge investment by the car sector that will be necessary for the next 30 to 40 years minimum, as mentioned by Mr. David Valls from Australia. Lithium, the lightest metal on Earth, has numerous applications ranging from lubrication grease and glass fabrication to rechargeable batteries that power many handheld tools, mobile electronics, and electric vehicles. The demand for lightweight, rechargeable lithium batteries has increased greatly as markets grow for mobile devices, electric vehicles, and renewable power storage. According to the Financial Post, recent studies have shown that the demand for lithium is projected to increase by 73% by 2025, that is next year, as electric vehicles become more viable and more countries place restriction on gas and diesel-powered cars. Although lithium is found in many minerals and some brines, it's typically in low concentration, and each source has unique characteristics. This makes extraction expensive and time-consuming. Two major challenges that mining companies face in the lithium sector, it is the cost first of all, and secondly, it is the labor that is required for the extraction. And while there are some current operation extracting lithium from brines with traditional technologies, the market is driving more efficient and economically viable recovery solution so that companies can stake their claim in the lithium race. Now, let us see how lithium is extracted, Mr. Speaker, sir. Lithium now plays an essential role in our economic system and is likely to do so in the future. So much so that some have called it the white gold, the new oil, or as I said, the white gold. Typical resources of lithium are hard rock deposits, such as petalite or spodumene sedimentary deposits, such as clays or formation brine deposits of saline groundwater. Often found beneath the surface of dried lake beds, brines, or underground reservoirs that contain high concentration of salts, including lithium, potassium, and sodium. While hard rock mines are known for producing higher purity lithium, the associated mining processing costs are typically higher than recovering lithium from brines. The lithium, the state in which it is required, needs several stages of purification. We are at the threat of climate change. The whole world is at the threat of climate change. So while we are taking measures to mitigate the effects of climate change, investing huge amount of money and bringing legislation, etc., we are, on the other hand, in a certain way, encouraging those extraction of the brines, which in fact are going to create more and more pollution. We have not realized that the process of purification for lithium mining from brines has been questioned for its intensive water use, protracted duration, and exclusive application to continental brines. I did mention earlier that the production of one battery needs at least 1,000 liters of water. The environmental impacts of evaporation and alternative technologies, collectively known as direct lithium extraction, have been carried out by institutions for lithium mining, focusing on requirements for fresh water, chemicals, energy consumption, and waste generation, including spent brines. Direct lithium extraction technologies aim to tackle the environmental and techno-economic shortcomings of current practice by avoiding brine evaporation. A selection of direct lithium extraction technologies has achieved some of the targets to a certain extent. I mentioned about the lithium triangle in South America. Let's now consider Europe. The largest deposit of lithium in Europe is found in Portugal, Mr. Speaker, sir. Now, Spain, which is a Portugal's neighbor, can't resist to exploit its own deposit of lithium. As you can see, that lithium mining has become an important asset in Portugal's economic activity. Despite that all religions in the world teach human beings not to be greedy and selfish, we see that human beings do exactly the opposite of what they preach. Let me take that example of Spain, Mr. Speaker, sir. The medieval town of Cáceres is a UN World Heritage Gem, where production crews shot the prequel of the movie, the Game of Thrones. Less than 3 kilometers away, foreign investors want to create one of Europe's largest lithium mines. The proposed project, so close to one of the jewels of the Spain's past, has set off ferocious local opposition. It highlights the challenges to the country's plans to use unprecedented European Union funding for developing a whole industry about lithium, and the main input for batteries to power electric vehicles and for large-scale energy storage. The other elements like cobalt do have the same effect, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I've got 3 minutes left. Do you want me to start another section of my speech, or would you like me to?
Try to at least introduce it for 2 minutes, and next time you can take over.
Next time, you mean? Yes, okay.
Go for 2 more minutes, if you can.
To close this chapter on lithium, let me inform the House what happened in 2020 in California, and this will resume the state of affairs. In 2020, Tesla held an event, which is called the socially distanced battery day. At that time, we were facing the pandemic. So the two executives from two big US lithium companies, Livent and Albemarle, were also invited. Albemarle, I mentioned earlier, is one of the major lithium extractors in Chile. Elon Musk announced that he has just acquired the rights to a 10,000-acre plot in Nevada, where he planned to build a lithium refinery. The next day, Albemarle and Livent lost a combined of $1.7 billion in the market value as the share prices plunged. That day brought so many implications and matters of talk that some people even call it the battery day. So what happened then? Experts and observers of the sector say that Tesla did not have any firm intention of becoming its own supplier. The objective was just to bring the lithium companies to table and force them to continue the production and invest $50 billion over the next 15 years to satisfy the battery demand. No one is bothered about the target of the Paris Climate Accord. It's a case on money, economy, a Cold War against China, and for the US to maintain their position of #1 economic power.
When you're ready to stop. When you're ready, you can stop. It's
Okay,
about
Mr. Speaker, I still have 1 minute
yeah.
left, so
Yeah, go ahead.
I prefer leaving it for the next section, which might be the next mandate. I'm sure I will be here on the same side, on the
The next
government side,
mandate as well.
intervening on this bill. I hope you will be on at the chair at that time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. It is 7 o'clock almost, by a few seconds. Mr. Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I move that the House be adjourned to Monday, 5th August at 4 p.m.
The question is that the House be adjourned to Monday, 5th of August to 4 p.m. Those in favor say aye, those against say no. Aye. The ayes have it. We have adjournment matters today, and Jamia are always ready. Go on.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. The issue I'm raising tonight is addressed to the Honourable Minister of Agriculture. It's in relation to the shortage of live cattle in Mauritius, more specifically bulls, goats and sheep for the local market. As the House is aware, Mauritius is heavily
Less noise in moving around, please.
As the House is aware, Mauritius rely heavily on imports from South Africa. And since 2 months, there have not been imports by sea, by cattle courier, as it's the case normally. And the reason being there has been an outbreak of foot and mouth disease in South Africa. There have been some imports, but by air, but it is not sufficient to cater for the local demand. And as a result of the shortage, the prices have gone up for live, but also for fresh meat. So therefore, can I ask the Honourable Minister if we can I appeal rather, if we can diversify our sources of imports, not to rely heavily only on South Africa, if we can also sign trade agreements with several countries so that in the future we have stable imports for live cattle. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Deputy Speaker, sir. I would like to first thank the honourable member to bring this topic to this House tonight. In fact, let me reassure the honourable member, also the House and the population, that we don't really have a shortage of bulls, of cattle, or even sheep and goats in Mauritius at the moment. In fact, I've been putting up the whole stock level every day on a daily basis to ensure that we have sufficient for the market. So let me, if I can give the to-date figure, because I do have a daily update on the stock level. We have 289 cattle at the moment on the, in stock and 1,039 sheep and goats. It is indeed a fact that we have had an outbreak of foot-and-mouth disease in one of the provinces in South Africa where we used to source our cattle, but we have made arrangements to source from other provinces where they don't have the foot-and-mouth disease. We have also sought to source cattle from Kenya and Tanzania. Unfortunately, in Kenya, as you are aware, we have some unrest there. So we had to send our veterinary people to go and at least validate the farm where we're going to source those cattle. They couldn't travel for the moment because of the unrest there. But this is something that is being contemplated to be carried out very soon as soon as things get better in Kenya. But I must also reassure the House that we do have cattle from Rodrigues as well, where we are importing from Rodrigues. And I can already inform the House that we have a number of importers that have applied for permit to import cattle, be it from South Africa or from Rodrigues. In fact, we're expecting some 600 cattle from South Africa by ship by mid-August. So that's what the status is as of now. So I can reassure the House and the population that we are monitoring the situation so that we don't fall short of any cattle in Mauritius.
Thank you very much. No other adjournment matters. Allow me at this stage, following what Honourable Nakchedi said about next mandate, allow me to thank everybody, all honourable members for the support while I've been in the chair. And thank you very much. Have a safe trip. Next mandate, Mr. Nakchedi.